Hello! I love you so much. I'm so glad that we get to spend this time together. Okay, so today we're going to be talking all about adaptation energy. Do you know how to adapt? Do you know what adaptation energy is? So let me identify what adaptation energy is. Here's how I used to talk about it pre-pandemic. I would say, okay, let's say you wake up on Monday morning and you oversleep your alarm by 10 minutes. So it's a little tiny change of expectation. It's a little tiny demand. The art is formerly known as stress. We call high demand here at Ziva. So it burns up a little bit of adaptation energy. But NBD, you get ready quickly, you leave your house on time. Then you put your office or your meeting address into your GPS. It says, great, you're gonna be there in 20 minutes, no worries. You pull onto the freeway, it turns out it's a parking lot. So instead of 20 minutes, it's 45 minutes on the freeway. It's a change of expectation. It's burning up some more adaptation energy. You're now late for work. You finally get off the freeway, you pull into the coffee shop drive-through, you order your coffee because now you're late, you want to really amp it up. And the barista is like, thank you for everything. Waiter, out of coffee. Here, take this chamomile tea on the house. And you're like, I don't want your stupid chamomile tea. I came here for coffee. Change of expectation. You're being asked to adapt. So it's burning up some more adaptation energy. Then you get into work, you're now 30 minutes late to work, and your boss is like, hey, Emily, can I talk to you for a minute? And you're like, sure. What is it? Like, thanks for everything. We're going to have to let you go. What? I'm sorry. This is the first time I've ever been late. I love my job. What do you mean? I'm fired? And you're like, yeah. So you call your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your whatever friend, and you're like, hey, I just got fired from my job. Do you think you could get dinner tonight? I'm going to need a little extra support. And about 20 minutes later, they text you back and they're like, hey, thanks for everything. I'm going to have to let you go. And you're like, I'm sorry. Are you breaking up with me via text message? So then you get home and you pour yourself a glass of, water or something a lot stronger than that. And the glass slips out of your hand and shatters on the kitchen floor. And now guess what you're going to do? You're likely going to start crying. You're going to punch the kitchen wall. You're going to run away from the glass. Now, it's a $2 glass that you can replace tomorrow with the Crate and Barrel, but it doesn't matter how big or small the demand is. If you're out of adaptation energy and then you have another demand, your body will launch involuntarily into a fight or flight stress reaction. Whether you've read Eat, Pray, Love or not, whether you've read the 7 habits of highly effective people or not. Right? You're out of adaptation energy. You have another demand. This is the proverbial straw that breaks the camel's back. So those of you who have been feeling real depleted, if you've been feeling like you're just on edge, if somebody looks at you the wrong way, you break into tears, your kid, has a temper tantrum and you have one back. If you feel like everything is causing involuntary fight or flight stress reactions, I am so glad that you're here. I am so glad that you are choosing to take this time to be curious and to ask yourself these really honest and sometimes challenging questions. How well do I know how to adapt? So here's the thing. When we launch into this fight or flight stress reaction, your body's going to go into a physiological chemical response. Okay, amygdala is going to take over. That's the fear center of the brain. Brain and body are going to flood with adrenaline and cortisol, which are stress hormones, which are acidic in nature, which over time can lead to inflammation, which PS, inflammation is the basis of all chronic disease. So those of you who are thinking like, oh, meditation is like a cute mental activity I'll get around to when I have more time. Nothing could be farther from the truth. This is this brain thing is responsible for printing every single cell in your body. So if your brain is stressed, then your body is going to be stressed. And if you're chronically stressed, then it's going to be very hard for you to adapt. Now, I want you to think about someone in your life who you love. Someone in your life who you just adore, who you think, flows really elegantly through life. If you were going to have a dinner party, they'd be one of the first people you would invite. You call them for advice when they talk to you. They make you feel like you're the only person in the room. You know the one that just feels like elegant and easy and present all the time. So now that's one thought exercise. Now I want you to think about someone who really stresses you out. Someone who's always a day late and $1 short, always has some sort of trauma or tragedy, or, always seems to be in a pickle, either physically, financially, emotionally, dating the wrong person, got fired from the job, got into another situation. Just it's their whole life. Like the string and string and string and string and string of bad luck. So here's my hypothesis about these two people in your life. The first person, the person that you feel hungry to be around, the person that you look forward to unioning with, is that this person knows how to adapt, right? That they are so connected to source. They know how to fill their own reservoirs with bliss and fulfillment, which frees them up, which gives them the luxury and the gift of having some extra adaptation energy in the reservoirs so that they can adapt to the people around them. Meaning if you're in need, great, they have some extra time for you. If you need advice, cool, they have some extra counsel to give. You need some money, great, they have some money saved up, they can support you if you need that. They're happy to cover dinner. They're happy to take on the extra responsibility of planning the weekend. That person who has the luxury, they've saved enough in their energy bank account that they can adapt to you. Now, the other person that I had you think about that stresses you out, that is always having a string of bad luck, my hypothesis about what all of those people have in common is that they don't really know how to adapt. Meaning that they're in such a state of fight or flight, they're in such a state of stress all the time that they are forcing everyone around them to adapt to them. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't eat here. Oh my gosh, I don't like her. I don't want to go to that party. Oh, I had a terrible experience in Panama City. Can we not go on that vacation? Oh, I'm so sorry I'm late. Can you order me food? I'm so sorry I'm in a jam. Can you pay for this? Right, so they're asking you to adapt to them. Now, of course, we all get by with a little help from our friends, and I'm not suggesting that any person needs to be an island, but you know what I mean. I mean the decades-long pattern of this. So my question to you is this. Do you want to be the person that when your friends and family think about you, that they're like, oh my gosh, I love them. They always feel so ready and willing and able to help, so able to adapt? Or do you want to be the person that all your friends and family members are stressing out about because they are concerned that you are not self-sufficient, that you don't know how to adapt? I think this is an easy question, but the thing that I want you to really take note of is that if you are forcing everyone around you to adapt to you, you're creating karmic debts. Okay, it's like a little debt owed, a little debt owed, a little debt owed. The tricky thing about karmic debts is that you don't get to choose when it gets rebalanced, right? It doesn't necessarily happen with that exact person. And so you might have another string of bad luck, which might feel like quote unquote bad luck, but it's actually just nature rebalancing the scales, asking you to adapt in other ways. And here's the Cliff's Notes on adaptation energy, is that if you have a daily practice, okay, and I mean a legit, silent, you're self-sufficient, every day, twice a day meditation practice, one of the most beautiful gifts of this, one of the most valuable returns on investment is that you are plugging into the very source of adaptation energy. You are filling up your reservoirs with adaptation energy so that you can engage in the world no matter what it throws you. It's like you become Neo from the Matrix, right? The bullet's coming at you and you're like, you can see it coming, you can adapt, you can shift. It doesn't mean that the demands stop happening. It doesn't mean that life necessarily gets easier. What you do is that you become stronger. You make yourself more resilient. And look, something might suck you dry. It might burn up all of your adaptation energy, but it's not even a big deal. You don't have to be stressed about the stress, because this afternoon you're going to close your eyes and pop back in and connect to the very source of adaptation energy. Okay, so my very, very urgent call to action to every single human on the planet is learn how to adapt. And the way that we adapt is by going inside every day, twice a day, de-exciting the nervous system, peeling away the layers of stress that we've all been accumulating in our nervous system so that we can flow like water. Okay, all right, you guys, I love you. Mwah.